Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the Forward Observer Unit. That's this little thing, along with its mortar and this stuff and everything that it does come with. This is part of the classic reviews that I've been going through and slowly but surely getting there. And today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is not my original. This is one thing that I never had. Probably because when I was somewhere, I was just able to get something larger or maybe another figure. And I thought that this was actually kind of cool. I don't see why I wouldn't like this. But I just never felt any actual reason to get it. Although now I look at it and I think of world building and this is type of stuff I love. And I think it goes perfectly with low light. But anyway. We're going to take a look at this, look at all the detail, the design, and all that other good stuff that comes with it. That's Roman coming down if you don't know that. But I'd love to hear a story if you had this. Maybe this was one that you went over your cousins and you always had this. Maybe someone stole this from you and then lied about it. And then they wouldn't tell you, but you knew that it was yours. Because you didn't put your initial there. You were just SOL. But let's get into this. But before we do, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. All right, here's the Forward Observer Unit. I might have said it wrong on the opening or the closing. Again, I'll let you decide or figure out how I do these videos. So this is one of those things. I always thought this was perfect for low light. He's a sniper, he's got a little tent, but now when I think back to it, sniper doesn't want to be seen, so he probably doesn't want to have a little tent to where he can just kind of give off his location. But he does come with the mortar, he comes with the tent, and he also comes with the spotter station, which obviously makes you think of low light or radio. So he could be used for low light, this could be used for short fuse, it could be used for dial tone and breaker. You know, it's again like who is this made for? There's so many figures, or it could be any character. But let's get into it. So quickly, we'll look at the radio. Now this is an antenna that does come out. So I have a feeling that's probably worth the most of anything on this whole set. All right, we got a little bit of a sticker here. I'm assuming it's the right one. Again, this is not my original, but they just give you a few little buttons right there. You got the star. All right. And it's just going to sit right here. And you can do whatever you want with it. Do all kinds of pictures. Have fun with it. Again, it is your toy. Here we have our little spotter, which I had no idea what this was. It's got the stand. This comes right off. And a sniper normally has a spotter with him. He's the one who is scouting everything out. He sees it. He gives an idea of how far away everything is. We can see the detail on here. It looks like it has a scope for the scope. But this just kind of sits on it, and it does move fairly easily. We have the mortar and the mortar set. Now, I believe this is the one that goes to it, if I look at the color scheme. This also came with, I thought something else. Or no, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking of the other ones that came with the howitzer. So anyway, we have this box. In here, we can see the mortar shell. So it has 4 mortar shells, and they are crisscrossed, which I'm assuming fits a little bit more. Just a little bit of detail going all the way around. There was a sticker that goes right there. And then we get 2 mortars that are going to go to it. All right, I believe there's only 2. There may be 3. It does have a sticker on it. You can see the little, the wingtips right there. This is going to drop in and it's going to fire off. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't actually fit in the mortar. You would have thought, especially the way they did the howitzer, that you could put the howitzer shell in it. Or you could put this mortar rocket or whatever it is. So, this will go up. You can see the way, you can see where it's supposed to be as it is cut right across there. But when you look here, this here is actually meant to be a dial so it can expand it out. So if you want to lower the mortar, you'd actually be able to do it. You wouldn't lower it like this. You would expand this out, and then you're going to have your legs that are going to go out a little bit. All right. Here you have the big base. You can see here, this was all part of a unit that gets clipped onto it. So I should probably just clip that piece off eventually. But you look at this mortar, it does look really nice. It's got this big long barrel. and it's going to be able to move up. And you're able to kind of decide how high you want it. You don't want to shoot it like that, it's going to come down on you. But right here is how they expect it to be. Right? And then we get to the little tent. And I got to say, the tent was always cool, but not a lot of room for a figure inside of it. Here we can look inside there and see Hasbro Bradley 1985 Paw Tucket, which they will no longer be there. So you can see the nice canvas, and that detail on the canvas is really nice. We can see the stitching that goes over. We got stitching that's going to go down, so obviously this is supposed to fold over on both sides so he can stay protected. This is here, I always thought this is supposed to be the stake, so it's staked down right there. Just a little bit of detail, but then you can see how it's stitched together. But the detail here, this is the rope. Well, now that I'm looking at it, this is the rope that goes into the stake that's actually holding this door open. I didn't realize that. So again, really cool, something where they hopefully can kind of hide into it. Now again, if you're going to take this guy, you really need to remove his backpack. And as you can see, this might not be the easiest thing for them. But sure enough, you take your time, and unfortunately they can't look up. But again, imagination. You do have the bipod sitting right there, so he's just blindly snipering people. This here, we have the radio. Again, he wants the radio in. And you can kind of get that figure right down there, looking at what's going down. Good luck on this. But you can make them look, I guess, through there the best possible. Alright. And then obviously you have your mortar. Do not try and put this in their hand. You will break that thumb. And it would be nice if it would just drop in. I guess you could put it there, make it look like it's firing off these days. Or someone probably has some sort of 3D printed blast effects, which would actually be pretty cool. So a lot of different play aspects to this little thing. I never had this as a kid. I don't remember if I didn't want it or if it's just something I went, I have a mortar. I don't really need a tent. Who knows? It was a long time ago. I don't remember that far back. But let's wrap this up and tell me what you think about this. I love hearing these stories. All right, there you go. That is your forward observer unit. At least I think that's what it's called, because I didn't have it. Again, it has this little radio. It has the spotter. I had no idea what this was. This was, again, I'll mention it. This is all about the detail that they put into it. And again, yeah, you had some futuristic stuff. You had some stuff that was thinking well outside the box. But you also had stuff that was probably really relevant in the Vietnam era, going into the Cold War era and different things like that. But I love to hear a story if you had this. Maybe it was one of your favorite little playsets that you got. Maybe it's the only one that you had. Believe it or not, there weren't people that were like me that seemed to have everything that they wanted. And again, I feel most of the smaller things that I didn't have, I just never asked for. Or maybe by the time I wanted it, it was, off the shelves. I don't really remember how that used to work. But anyway, tell me a story about this. I'd love to hear it. But you've stayed this long, so please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review. Now you might be saying, hey, have you done more? Well, you're in luck. Right up here will be another video, and down here will be a playlist. Why am I holding my forearm? I have absolutely no idea. But anyway, take care. See you later.